buy a place today. But why? Can you guess? Well, Tec was on his way to school with Katie, and he wouldn't be back until the afternoon. Goodbye, everyone. Beep, beep. Tec tooted his horn. Then Molly, Katie, and Tec all disappeared down the street. Tec was very happy to be going to school, so he tooted his horn at every person he saw. Beep, beep. Honk, honk. A big red truck tooted back at him. After Molly saw Katie and Tec to the school door, she said goodbye. Hello, Katie. Hello, Tec. We haven't seen you for ages. What have you been doing? Asked the school principal. Yes, everyone knew Tec, and they were all very glad to see him again. Tec didn't have a coat or a cap, so unlike everyone else, he didn't need a hook to hang things on. Katie did, though, so she took off her coat and hung it up. Come on, Katie, said Tec very excitedly as they both hurried to their classroom. Could everyone sit quietly, please? Said Mrs. Jenkins as she got ready to take attendance. Thomas? Present. Robert? Robert? Present. There you are, Ellen. And Katie? That's that. Everyone is here, said Mrs. Jenkins. And Tec, said the children, pointing at the little red tractor. Oh, how could I forget? I'm very sorry, Tec. Tec? Called Mrs. Jenkins. Beep! Tec tooted his horn, and everyone laughed. Yes, it was great fun having Tec at school. Now then, class, here are your English books. Oh, everyone sighed because they wanted to hear one of Tec's stories, not do English. But Tec had to go. Tec will be going to the kindergarten class this morning. Are you ready, Tec? Yes, I am. Beep, beep. Tec tooted his horn. I'll see you all later. And off he went, tooting goodbye to the children as he followed Mrs. Jenkins to the kindergarten class. When he got there, the children were working hard, busy learning numbers. Hello, Tec, said Mrs. Morris. I'll see you later, Tec, said Mrs. Jenkins, and off she went back to her own classroom. Okay, everyone, said Mrs. Morris, the kindergarten teacher. Let's sit quietly. Tec has come here today to watch us work. The lesson started, and Tec was very curious, so he went over to one of the tables to find out more. What are you doing? Asked Tec. Math, said Amanda, showing him her work. I can count, boasted Tec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All the children looked at each other, wide-eyed with surprise. They didn't know that Tec the little red tractor could count. Tec had learned everything he knew at the family farm, And that's where he had learned to count as well. I learned how to count while helping Katie collect the eggs every day, he explained. How many eggs did you get today, Katie? 1, 2, 3, said Katie. Counting sheep was also an excellent way to learn how to count. He told the class, and I really like helping Roy count sheep. But with sheep, you have to count very quickly. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Phew. It's much easier to count eggs than it is to count sheep, said Tec, because eggs don't run all over the place. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. Oh, galloping caskets. Then it was playtime, and all the children headed out to the schoolyard. Children, give Tec some room, please. He needs to be able to move, said Mrs. Jenkins. She felt sorry for Tec because the children crowded around him like bees around a jar of honey. But Tec was enjoying himself, and he was ready to let the children ride on his seat. They were so small that they were as light as feathers. When the bell rang, Tec and the children went back to the classroom, and when they got there, the class painted pictures. Everyone wanted to paint a picture of Tec. So he had to stay absolutely still and not move a wheel. Watching all the kids paint reminded Tec of the time that he helped Molly and Roy paint large containers to help scare away the crows. Yes, it had to be said, Tec was quite an artist. Then, after the children finished painting their pictures, Mrs. Morris put them up on the wall. Tec felt very proud when he saw all the pictures of him hanging around the classroom. Are you ready, Tec? Asked Mrs. Morris. Yes, I am. Beep, beep, said Tec, tooting his horn. After everyone settled down in a half circle around Tec, he began to tell the kids a story. Tec was an excellent storyteller. First, he cleared his throat. I have a friend named Tommy. Tommy the trailer. Do you know him? Yes. Well, Tommy the trailer loves going on rides. So, one afternoon, I went to the machine shed and asked him, Tommy, would you like to go for a ride? Go for a ride? Asked Tommy. But before he could answer, I hooked him up and started pulling him down the road behind me. Where are we going? Tommy asked. I don't know, I said. What about taking a left turn at the top of the road? Good idea, I said. And off we went down the road. At the top of the street, we turned left again. It was a beautiful day, The birds were singing and the flowers were in full bloom. And there we were, driving happily along the road, zigzagging from side to side. And every time we came to an intersection, I would ask Tommy, "Which way now, Tommy?" And Tommy would reply, "Left or right?" Until finally we came to these huge trees in front of a huge house that had a huge garden. We hadn't seen any of it before. We didn't recognize a thing, and we didn't know where we were. We were lost. Tommy the trailer began to cry. He cried and cried. "Oh, please don't cry, Tommy," I said. I was trying to remember whether we had turned left or right at the last intersection, but I couldn't remember, and Tommy was still crying. But when I turned back, I realized, "Look, Tommy," I said, "there's a street sign at every intersection." "But I can't read," sniffed Tommy. "Well, I can," I said cheerfully, and so I read the sign. Hometown, 3 miles. And after a while, Tommy began to recognize the letters on the street signs as well. I read many street signs that day. But if I hadn't been able to read, I would never have reached home. By the time we reached the family farm, Tommy had learned almost all the letters of the alphabet. And that's the story of me and Tommy, and how Tommy the trailer learned to read. "Thank you very much, Tec," said Mrs. Morris, and all the children clapped loudly, hoping that Tec would come to their school again soon. Beep, beep.